who is this to? Who's it from? What's the interaction? And so the interactive part is kind of where I see you're in right now. We're talking about having a conversation and doing these things. And the thing I've been thinking about is kind of a message. Not a. That's not. I don't want to make it sound like it goes from a grave or something. I want it to be the personal things. So you start with a set header basically that says, "This is what I want to say to each of you," and have a list of people, and say, you can share it or not. It's up to you. It's personal. I don't mind if you share it, but contain it as you want. And then think about the things that I would just say to you. And then the same thing to each of the kids, and that list of people that I wanted to make that to. And not interactive in this case, and give me the chance to edit just a bit and try to make my message a little more concise, but the way I want to be able to frame it. And I don't want it to make something that's waiting there for me to be gone. I want it to be something that once we put this thing together, I'm okay with sharing that with and hopefully I live long enough to update it and make some changes as you go along.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be set in stone, but at least let's get to this point where we have this stuff here that you realize. It's like, I don't know how much you saw with Michelle last night, but she really had a hard time last night. But she was very, very personal, very. She was expressive, but a little bit drunk expressive too. But she wanted to make sure that I understood what she was saying. And at first, I didn't quite. I was kind of new, the environment, and drinking and all this, and you never quite know where somebody's coming down on something. So I didn't want her to get blubbering, but it didn't get that way. So it was a nice conversation. And she had things that she wanted to say to me. It wasn't much. I didn't have much to say in this. It was what she wanted to say to me. So I kind of took that thing, thinking, yeah, well, that's kind of what I want to be able to say to others, in terms of these are the things that are important, or this is what I think that, how you affected my life in ways that are unique and different and that I value and all that kind of stuff, And so that's kind of where this thing's going around to. So that's the way I'm leaning toward. That doesn't mean it's the only one. It's just maybe one that is how I summarize some things to make sure everybody knows the way I feel about it in a succinct way. So I'm all for fine talk, everything you're going with it, I'm fine with it, that's fine.
Yeah,
we just may have a different take on some of it, which is also fine, they're not exclusion.
Yeah, I mean, my opinion isn't strongly held in the things that I propose to you about how to do it.
Yeah.
I just have the instinct that sure would be nice to have something.
What the thing you did with Edsel that time, that was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of this as the upgrade version.
Yeah.
Because that was real good luck.
Yeah.
And it's so simple, 10 minutes long, and it delivers a lot.
Yeah.
Just by accident. So how much more can you deliver if you're not doing it by accident?
Right.
And I think part of what's nice about it is that it's not forced at all, since it was surreptitious.
Right.
And so, but the naturalness of it comes through. And I think that that's why it has such a strong impact. When you watch it, it's just a day at the farm.
Right.
Telling a couple stories.
Right.
By far, not the best stories he had in his catalog of stories.
Right.
But just the ones he was telling that day.
Right.
And
but it was so typical. I mean, it was so, in those few minutes, it could have been any of his stories,
exactly.
The over nature of it was that that's who he was, and it's wonderful to have it.
How much time do we spend talking about old times? None.
Yeah.
We don't sit around and say, oh, remember that time? I mean, a little bit, it was 10 years ago in Africa. Yeah, Africa was a great trip. Yeah. And then that's sort of like the extent of it.
Yeah.
And I think it has a lot to do with.
Funny thing that goes with that, though, in my lucid dream segments, as that. In as much as I wasn't dwelling on those things, it was a pleasant thing to regurgitate some of those things that were moments in time that were sort of like pivotal points. So no, it's not going backwards exactly, but those are things that help define the turns that we make along the way to either correct or improve, or all those little things. So then thinking back to when somebody did something that you get, oh yeah, that really, I should put that a little bit higher in my hierarchy of dreams, if you will, or higher hierarchy of importance in some sort of way, without trying to assign echelons of importance.
Yeah.
But you recognize that, yeah, that was something. And they're easy to slip away from, just in regular memory. So you're laying there and think about those people that have meant a lot to you, that will continue to be so much. Yeah, you don't forget that. May have been historical, but it's not exactly living in the past. It's more like things define us, and